I spent $1,475,000 worth of ways not to launch a product. And with the last $25,000 and a bunch of investors sitting around saying it's over, was the time that the entrepreneur had to decide, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna keep going, or are we gonna just call it? And you're gonna hear a lot of kind of funny failures on how I learned about the most critical verb that I believe is out there, and that is to persist. Because at the end of the day, that's the name of the game. How not to give up.
He's a graduate of the United States Naval Academy and served with distinction as a Navy SEAL platoon commander 3 times.
Before they let you class up, you sit in this training cell for 7 weeks. And at the end of the training cell on a Friday, you meet Instructor Memphis.
He comes out and he said, "Hey, candidates, 181, you gather around here for a minute. I want to let you in on a little secret. How to make it through Navy SEAL training. You guys want to hear that?" There's 122 of us. "Oh, hoo-yah, Instructor Memphis." "Good, because let me tell you, it ain't complicated. You just have to decide how much you're willing to pay. You see, my job is to create a conversation between here and here. And in that conversation, we're gonna find out how much you're willing to pay." 122 young men show up, and how many decide to pass the test? 64 decide to pass a test, while another 60 decide not to do it after 2 years of making it their goal. What's the conversation he's talking about? I'll tell you about the conversation. This one right here, right? The first one starts here. It starts in the head. And what's the head do? What's the head know? The head knows what it knows. And it likes to whine. It likes to figure out all the reasons why you shouldn't be doing it, why you can't do it, why it's too hard, why it's gonna take too long. It's the same conversation we all have every single time we get faced with something new, something unknown, a new change comes around, something that scares us, that little demons of doubt that get inside your head. You focus on how bad you feel, you get more depressed. You think about what everyone else is telling you you can't do, you can't do it. Everybody's setting the limit. Everybody telling everybody else what they can or they can't do. No. And flip the conversation. If you can really focus just on what you can control, and you go all in every day, you will have your best year again and again and again.
What's the switch that turns these great ideas that you're seeing up here today into great companies? It comes down to the individuals. It comes down to the unstoppable mindset. When I say unstoppable, I am talking about relentless action, tenacity, perseverance, persistence, courage. That's the mindset, all in, all the time. I spent $1,475,000 worth of ways not to launch a product. And with the last 25K and a whole bunch more work, we come up with this. Maybe you've seen them. They're called the perfect push-up. We've sold a lot of them. This was not the idea that I raised my money on, but it was the idea that built our company. It built the company into something that we didn't even think would happen. We weren't even looking for it. Perfect Fitness becomes the #1 fastest growing consumer products, 4th fastest in the United States. There were 2 problems with this. One problem was you can start believing what the press says about you, and you can forget what business you're really in. And at the same time, you know when this came out? January 2009. Anybody lived through that period in business? The second Great Depression? The lights went off at retail. We went from 65 million to 19 million
in 1 year. We were broke again. We had one option, and the option was the company would die or reinvent ourselves. And you know what we ended up doing? We reinvented ourselves with over 100 different products. Our little shelf space of just a couple of shelves grew to 8 feet in Walmart. We ended up selling the company twice.
The idea that you originally start with may not be the one that takes you to the next level, but the mindset to keep going is the difference between the great idea and the great company that then builds the great culture.
That's the thing. You have to take the jump. The magic is when you commit to going all in, it's contagious. That's the way you approach the focus, the feeling, the action. The only way you get beyond the horizon, all in, all the time. Thank you, and be unstoppable.